Now we are going to start with a new unit, that is the electricity. Now you all are familiar with the electricity, as you all know that electricity plays an important role. Like you all are crazy for watching TV. TV runs only by electricity. Moreover, you use hair dryers, you use tube lights, fans, ACs. They all run on electricity. So that means electricity plays a very important role. So in this unit, we are going to study that what an electricity is, what is the criteria that some substances conduct electricity and some do not. So we are going to study in detail that what actually the electricity is. And you know that it is a very interesting unit, because see, whenever you are studying about anything which is around you or which you are using to a great extent, so it is a great you can say a feeling of learning that. So we are going to start with electricity. You know that from where this concept of electricity came actually. So first thing you should know that from where this concept of electricity came. See, earlier there were no you know that earlier there were no tube lights, there were no bulbs, there were lanterns and all like that. But still, you know that electricity came into view. How it came? You know that friction. You know, first you should know that what actually is friction. Friction is rubbing of two bodies. Friction is rubbing of two bodies. The first thing like which led to the development of electricity was the friction only. So you know that it was like in the early ages, what it was concluded that rubbing of two bodies can produce electricity. Rubbing of two bodies can actually produce electricity because they consist of atom, and atom contains, you know, that negatively charged particle electrons. So whenever we rub them, those negatively charged particle moves from one substance to the another. So that causes the flow of charges, from where we came to know that yes, this type of phenomena can also be there. So you should know that anything which we talk about is formed of atom, and atom contain positive charge here and negative charges are here. So whenever you rub two things, suppose I take glass rod and we rub it with silk. What happened when we rub both of them? So there is a friction. This led to the production of electricity, because what happened, the atoms of glass rod loses an electron. These electrons flow from glass rod to silk, and so that means glass rod is losing electron and silk is gaining that. The one which loses electron acquires positive charge, and the other that gains electron acquires negative charge, because the net negative charge is increasing and in this the negative charge is decreasing. Otherwise, if we talk about atom, it is neutral. There is equal number of positive and negative charges, right? So whenever it is losing electrons, so this is exceeding, therefore it acquires a positive charge. So whenever it is gaining negative charge, so that means this is exceeding, so that is why it is acquiring a negative charge. Similarly, if we rub ebonite rod with wool, then what happens? When we rub both of them in the same way we rub glass rod and silk, we see that electrons move from wool to ebonite rod, and it always happen in the same way. It's not like that I'm doing here, so the electrons are moving from glass rod to silk, you do another day, it is moving from silk to rod. No, it's not like that. So whenever you will be rubbing glass rod with silk, electrons will be moving from glass rod to silk, and whenever you are rubbing ebonite rod with wool, electrons will be moving from wool to ebonite rod. So that means it will acquire a positive charge and it will acquire a negative charge. So whenever you connect these kind of things to a cell or a battery, so that means there will be a flow of electric current. Whenever we will connect, suppose I take glass rod and I take silk, and by means of wire, suppose this is a cell, right, I connect with it. So we see that electrons current is going to flow from glass rod to silk, because we saw that electrons were moving from glass rod to it, so current will flow from glass rod to silk. So this is what is the you can say the introduction for the electricity. And moreover, now I think you got it, that how friction can produce electricity. Just rubbing of two bodies just disturb the the electron distribution, and they get moved from one place to another. The one which is losing acquire positive charge, the one which is gaining acquire negative charge. So this is how it happens. So that means if somebody asks you about electric current, how you are going to define it? It is rate of flow of electrons, or you can say negative charge. So electric current is rate of flow of electrons or negative charge. So this is what it happens like this. So if we talk about electricity, what are the main sources from which we can actually get the electricity? Like we are getting the electricity, what are the main sources from which we are getting the electricity, or like how we can generate it on a large scale? We are generating in hydel power plant. We are generating it in hydel power plant. We are generating it in nuclear power plants. This is nuclear, where we are using the radioactive materials, the very harmful materials like uranium-235, and we can generate it in thermal power plant. So in the three of the plants, we are generating the electricity on large scale. In hydel power plant, how we are generating? We are just making use of the kinetic energy of water. As we know that the water is stored here, the gates are closed, we just let the gates open, the water flows with a high speed, and when it flows with a high speed, there is a turbine which is attached, it just runs the turbine, and when the turbine is run, so this is what we need actually, and the electricity is generated. So here we are making use of kinetic energy of water. In nuclear power plant, we are making use of nuclear fuel, a radioactive substance, as I told you, like uranium-235. 235 is its mass number. And thermal power plant, we are making use of coal, coal, etc. We are making use of coal, etc. We are burning them, and the energy produced is just used to run the turbines. But if we talk about, so this is we are generating on a large scale. But if we talk about on a small scale, that how we are getting electricity, how we are like, what is the source of electricity for us? So it is a cell or a battery. A common cell is dry cell, which is being used. It can be a dynamo, that is generator, electric generator. It can be mains of electricity department, what we are getting, like they are generating electricity on this part and they are just supplying at your homes. And moreover, it can be solar cell, which is working on solar energy. Now we'll be discussing all of them in detail, that how we get electricity from all those, the cell, dynamo, the mains and the solar cell. So we are just going to discuss here. So this was the basic introduction. So just look at the board carefully now.